So now we look at perpendicular lines. What is it all about? If two straight lines are perpendicular, then the product of their gradients is -1. The product of their gradient is -1. So, if gradient 1 and gradient 2 are gradients of perpendicular lines, then their products, meaning gradient 1 multiplied by gradient 2 is equal to -1. What kind of lines are perpendicular lines? Example of perpendicular lines are lines that crosses each other, and where they are crossing each other, they are making a 90 degrees. So this is line 1, this is line 1, and this is line 2. So these two lines are perpendicular to each other. They form a 90 degrees where they are crossing each other. So that is what perpendicular lines are all about. So if you multiply the gradient of two lines which are perpendicular to each other, you are going to get a -1. So this is the relationship between two lines which are perpendicular to each other. Let us now look at examples based on perpendicular lines. So we have these two examples. We have the example which says, find the gradient of a straight line that is perpendicular to the lines given by each of the following equations. So we have learned about perpendicular lines which have the product of their gradients is equal to -1. So we are going to say y1. Okay, we are going to say for number A, we are going to say y is equal to x plus 3. What is the gradient of this line? The gradient of this line is 1. The gradient of this line is 1. So therefore, we have learned that gradient 1 multiplied by gradient number 2, we get -1. So what is gradient 1 is 1. So I'm going to say 1 times m2, which is -1. 1 times m2, it is the same as saying 1 m2, which is equal to -1. So I'm going to say divided by 1 and to the other side by 1. So we are going to say, therefore, our m2 is equal to -1. Our m2 is equal to -1. So let us now go to the next question. Of course, I'll again choose question number C. I'll go to question number C. So for question number C, we have first to find the gradient of this equation, which will be -6x, then -7. Then we divide by -2 throughout, -2 throughout. So we are going to have y is equal to 3x plus 7 over 2. So what is the gradient of this? Our m1 is equal to 3. How do we find the gradient of another line which is perpendicular to this line here? We are going to say m1 multiplied by m2 is equal to -1. What is our m1? Our m1 is 3, so now it will be 3 times m2, which will be 3m2 is equal to -1. Then you're going to say divided by 3, and this other side by 3. Then m2 is equal to, our m2 is equal to 1 over 3. because we are dividing by 3 throughout. So this is the gradient of that line. That is the gradient of that line. Let us now go to the next example. Of course, number B, you are going to try it. Please work it out and send the solution. Find the gradient of this by rearranging it, make y the subject of the formula. Then now you multiply the gradient 1 multiplied by gradient number 2 and find the final answer. Otherwise, let us now go to the next example. The question number 2 is find the equation of the straight line that is perpendicular to the line 3x minus 2y is equal to 4 and passes through the points. So the first thing we have to find the gradient of this line. So the gradient of that line, it will be 3x minus 2y is equal to 4. We are going to have negative 2y is equal to negative 3x plus 4 divided by negative 2. This other side negative 2, even this side negative 2. So our y will be 3 over 2 and x minus 2. This is what we have now. What is the gradient there? Maybe I can put it here. Therefore, our gradient 1 is 3 over 2. This is our gradient 1. Now, what will be our gradient 2? So we know that gradient 1 multiplied by gradient 2 is negative 1. Our gradient 1 is 3 over 2. So it will be 3 over 2. M2 is equal to negative 1. We divide both sides by that. So I'm going to say divided by 3 over 2. Even this other side, 3 over 2. So we are going to have, like this. So our M2 is equal to negative 1 divided by 3 over 2, which is the same as negative 1 multiplied by 2 over 3. And therefore our gradient 2 is negative 2 over 3. Our gradient 2 is negative 3 over, negative 2 over 3. So this is what we have. It's an inverse of gradient 1. Having known now this gradient, now you can now come up with the equation of the line, where I think I can do it from here. Equation of the line is mx plus c. What is the m in this case? We have found that it is negative 2 over 3. What is our x? Where is it passing through? Our x is negative 9. Our y is 5. So we're going to replace what is y, we put 5. So it will be 5. We're going to have 5 is equal to negative 2 over 3 multiplied by negative 9 plus c. So we are going to have 5 is equal to, we have 6, then plus c. So 5 minus 6 is equal to c, meaning c is negative 1. So therefore, the equation of the line will be y is equal to, what is our gradient? Negative 2 over 3. We are going to put x, then minus 1. Negative 2 over 3. We have x, then minus 1. So this is what we have. This is what we have found. We have worked out on the parallel lines and also the perpendicular lines questions. And this marks the end of our questions, or the end to our topic. And our next questions actually will be on the sample exam questions based on what we have covered, based on the topic we have been looking at, which is coordinate geometry. Thank you so much.